Hi, my name is Tim Nguyen, and for my Chapter 7 vlog, I chose the essay The Art of Immersion, Fear of Fiction by Frank Rose. So the essay starts off with someone's personal story about using Dungeons and Dragons as a way to um, cope with the negative effects of dyslexia. Using the game Dungeons and Dragons in the early 1974, they were able to imagine situations and connect more than they would through education. It led into the idea of video games being comprised of deconstructed narratives, which mark which mark a kind of social interaction in a way that was never seen before. Typically, future sci-fi premises involve escapism into digital dimensions or alternate realities. This is some kind of alternate reality, but it is an alternate reality that involves social interaction with other people, while connected to each other by an alternate sequence of events that exist outside the real world. Robinson Crusoe marked a paradigm shift in how literature was portrayed in this manner as well. Originally, literature was seen to be forced to stick to sources of a culture, sources of a majority. For example, history, myth, and legends. But after Robinson Crusoe, it became a kind of cultural shift from how literature is seen. Now it is seen as a kind of it does not adhere to the the majority anymore. It adheres to the individual. It seeks to connect to the individual and not to the population. So the individual experience. That resonated with early game creators. They sought to not just to make a game, but an interactive experience that connects people across the world. In that discussion of fiction, I recall an instance of reading. I used to read a lot when I was in early elementary school, and a lot of the stuff I read was about like Greek myths and medieval history. And at that time, I thought that the only interesting books I could read about would have to be stuff that people have been talking about for long time, like based on history, based on myths, and all that. And then I remember reading a interpretation of Treasure Island, and it was not connected to history in most ways, maybe a little bit, but it does stray from the common notion. It does stray from the historical notion of pirates as well as the mythological notion, but even though it had nothing to do with um it had barely anything to do with how mass culture portrays the settings in Treasure Island. The narrative was enticing enough for me that I was able to enjoy it from an individual, on an individual level. The characters and the story. I really liked the main character. He was very he had a lot of the same qualities that I had at the time, so I was able to really get invested in the story, and thus I was able to experience something that almost felt like it was just made for me and not just made uh, from uh, from the mass culture of society. Thank you.